All right, guys, no fluff in this video. Let's get right into it. Something is happening on eBay on January 13th that's going to affect every single seller on this platform. It's going to cause many of us sellers to leave the platform. I won't be one of them. And it's going to cause some major changes throughout the whole ecosystem of reselling. What is happening is eBay is changing their promoted listing fee structure. So I think we're all have a grasp of what eBay fees are. The simplest form is just the general standard promoted listing fee. eBay charges 13%, give or take, for all items that you sell. And then you have the opportunity to, say I was listing this Logitech mouse, I would pay around 13% for it to sell. I can also add an additional promoted listing fee anywhere from 2 to 99. I think you could even do 100%, which would just be stupid, but a 2% plus fee to get this in front of more eyeballs so it sells quicker and you get your money faster. So the way that it has worked in the past is, let's say myself, Jake Ryder, is looking for a samurai sword. So I type into eBay samurai sword and I find a samurai sword for $150. It's the top of the listing and on the bottom it says promoted listing. I click on that samurai sword. It's $150 and I think to myself, I'm really interested in samurai swords, but $150 is just too much for me. So I'm going to go ahead and click away from this listing. Maybe I'll spend a little bit more time on eBay. Maybe I'll just exit the eBay app completely. Who knows? But what this does, for those of you tech-savvy individuals who already know this, on the internet and web browsing, there's this thing called cookies. I love the name of these cookies because it references that everywhere you go, you leave a trail of crumbs. So when you are going and surfing the internet, it's basically like you are walking through a forest that is muddy, and every single step you take, you are leaving tracks and a trail behind you. So when I went to eBay, my cookies showed eBay that I looked at a samurai sword, and it's going to retain that information for 30 days. If the seller, in this instance used promoted listings, if I come back 3 days later and I purchase it for $150, they're going to pay a fee. If I come back 27 days later, they're going to pay that fee. If I come back 30 days later, they're going to pay that fee. Now, most of the time what happens is I'm like, oh, I like this samurai sword. I don't want it for $150. I'm just going to like it. And then usually 3 days later, the seller sends me an offer anywhere between 5 and 20% off. And if I like that offer, then I buy it. And then you pay the fee on whatever the sales price is, plus shipping, plus tax. That's a whole nother can of worms that we can talk about in another video. Anyway, what the new thing is now if Jake Ryder searches for a samurai sword because he just is interested in it, it's kind of weird talking to the third person right now. I click on this $150 samurai sword and I'm like, this is stupid. I wouldn't even pay $40 for this samurai sword. I click completely away from eBay and I never even come back to the website for hundreds of days, right? Then all of a sudden, 19 days after Jake Ryder clicked on that promoted listing, a sweet 73-year-old lady named Norma who lives in Blacklick, Ohio, learns that her grandson, who is 14 years old, wants a samurai sword for Christmas. She's done very well financially her whole life. She saved for retirement, and right now she is feeling pretty good financially. She's excited for a big Christmas. She types into eBay samurai sword, and she finds the same listing that Jake Ryder viewed 19 days ago for $150 in eBay's organic search. This is the important part. This item is not promoted to Norma. She searched samurai sword. The first 4 listings were sponsored. Her tech-savvy son-in-law told her every time you Google something or search for something, scroll past the sponsored ones and then you'll find what you're actually looking for. That's debatable as well. Anyway, she does that. The 5th listing is this samurai sword in the organic search that Jake Ryder clicked on 19 days ago. Here's the crazy part that has people furious with eBay. When Norma buys that organic listing, because Jake Ryder, who lives 2,300 miles away and clicked on that listing 19 days prior, that seller still pays his 2 to 15% promoted listing fee, whatever he marked that promotion at. Buckle up, everyone. This is where everyone says that I am a shill and an apologist for eBay. The principle behind this is stupid. This is probably the most asinine thing I have seen eBay do in the last 4 years that I've been using the site, but this is going to make Jake Ryder more money. Here's why. I currently promote all of my listings at 2.1%, and 40% of my listings sell through promoted listings. So I pay on average 0.8% on every single item that I sell. So every time that I make $10,000, eBay takes an additional $80. I'm totally fine with that. If they're gonna put my items, instead of in front of 20 million people, now they're gonna put in front of 60 million people, I'll definitely give them $80 all day long. Now, basically what I imagine happening is that number is going to increase anywhere between 60 and 100%. It's going to be 60 to 100%. It's probably going to be around 80%. So my promoted listing is going to double. So now instead of paying 0.8% on every single item that I sell on eBay, now it's probably going to be 1.6% in additional fees. So now instead of giving eBay 80 cents per $100, I'm giving them 160 cents, $1.60 for every $100 that I sell. If you view it from this lens and this scope, it's hard. Human psychology and the way that we are wired, it's tough to deal with this. But this is why eBay is going to make more money, and they are already billionaires. And this is why Jake Ryder is going to make even more money. And I'm not a billionaire, but I have way more money than I need. And now I'm going to get even more of it because all of you guys, and you're going to see this in the comments, many of you guys are going to quit eBay completely. The majority of the people that are going to quit eBay, though, are only selling 1 to 5 items per month. So they're not really competition in the first place. And then a lot of sellers that make between $5,000 and $500,000 per year on eBay are going to stop promoting the listings because they don't understand the math. That if you are promoting by 2.1%, like I do, I am going to give, if my numbers are correct, even worst case scenario, if 100% of my items sell through this promotion, then I will only give eBay an additional $2.10 every $100. If you can't afford that, yeesh, that's tough. So logically, we can afford that, but emotionally, people can't afford eBay stealing your money. Because let's be honest, they're stealing your money. Rally Roots gave a great example of going to a Toyota dealership. A coworker tries to sell a Camry to someone 27 days ago. They unsuccessfully sell it. It stays on the lot. And then Ryan goes and helps a couple buy the Camry. And then Toyota says, great job on the sale, Ryan. We're going to give that commission to your coworker because they were the first ones who got the item in front of those people. And even though a completely different couple bought the Camry, we're still going to give him that money. Doesn't make any sense. It is literal robbery, but it is what it is. So you don't get to choose what happens to you, but you get to choose how you respond to it. Fortunately, the average person, the average business owner is extremely emotional, and they are going to make radical changes that only increase Jake Ryder's sales. It's really, we're talking in third person in this video, but I'm doing a lot. So because the majority of you watching this video are going to stop promoting your listings, for just 80 more cents per $100, I am going to continue to promote my listings. And I am guessing that my sales will increase anywhere from 5 to 25%. And if you know anything about numbers or business, a 5 to 25% increase in sales creates generational wealth. It's awesome. So, does it absolutely suck that eBay is just taking money from us that they don't deserve? Yeah, on paper, and that initial gut punch sucks. But then when you zoom out and you realize the opportunity that's going to create for the hardcore sellers, for the people doing this full time, for the people that are really thinking about numbers and logistics, it's actually going to greatly improve our eBay stores. Shout out to Charlie Munger, one of the GOAT financial advisors and investors in the world. He just passed away a few years ago. He was Warren Buffett's right-hand man. They owned Berkshire Hathaway together. He died a billionaire. One of the things that he preaches the most is when everyone is losing their minds, if you sit on your hands, you will make significantly more money and you will have true wealth and they won't. I believe that this is one of those opportunities. Everyone is pissed off at eBay, and again, rightfully so. It is stupid that eBay thinks, oh, yeah, we're just going to steal money from our sellers, even though it's a legal theft, because they do have the right to do this. Like, it's their platform. You can leave it. You don't have to continue to sell on eBay if you don't like their policies. That's the beautiful thing about capitalism and the beautiful thing about America. But many of these people are going to leave, and it's going to increase Jake Ryder's wealth, because what am I going to do when this change happens? I'm going to Charlie Munger. I'm going to literally do nothing. I'm going to continue to find fast sell-through rate items and list them on eBay, promoted, whether they need a promotion or not. I'm going to continue to list these items on eBay with my promoted listing, and I believe that it is going to increase my sales dramatically. I could be wrong, and that's part of being a business owner, but I have learned a lot through Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. I have learned a lot through daily activity doesn't always increase net worth, but what always increases net worth is having a strong stomach and just sitting and watching the earth burn all around you and having your assets and your investments compound and build, even as they lose value during a downturn. I hope you guys can see the analogy that I'm making here. It may not make sense to some of you, and that's fine. I may be completely wrong in this, but I'm excited. I'm excited for 2026. We can get into this in other videos, but I think that a recession is coming in 2026. I think that those that are in debt are going to get washed out. I have a lot of friends that are borrowing money to invest it, to arbitrage, and they're going to get washed out. I believe that a lot of people are going to turn to eBay instead of Amazon. People are going to, okay, I'm not going to get into economics on this channel, maybe on another channel. But anyway, I think that 2026 is going to be an incredible opportunity for those that have the right mindset. And I believe that the tide is going to wash out a huge portion of eBay sellers that don't have the correct mindset. Once again, I'm just a guy turning 30 tomorrow. I could be completely wrong. But my family is going to benefit on January 13th, and I hope yours does too. Appreciate you guys.